Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to talk about sleep, how it affects you, why it's super important, and what you really should be thinking about when you're sleeping. All right, let's get right into this video. I don't want to waste any more time, and let's get going. So let's start off with sleep. What is sleep? Why do we even sleep? Right? Well, what is the purpose of us sleeping? I mean, we don't even sleep for a couple hours. We sleep a third of our life, basically, maybe a little bit less. But what is the reason for us spending so much time on actually sleeping? And you probably already know this, but of course, it's to recuperate energy, right? You sleep to restore the body's energy so that you can do something the next day, right? We have all tried doing the awake for 24 or 48 hours. I think the longest I've ever been awake for is a little over 50 hours or something. And it kills you, right? If you've ever tried to stay awake for a long amount of time, it completely sleep deprived. You start to hallucinate when you get to the really bad points. Can't focus, can't concentrate, can't walk straight, don't have any energy, can't almost not move your body, like you're just completely done, right? The reason that we actually sleep is because we want to recuperate our body. And like, what is sleep? Because a lot of people go to bed, wake up next day, but there is actually a bit more to it than that. And in their sleep, there's basically there's actually four stages, four things. There's REM, rapid eye movement. This is when you're dreaming. This is when you're conscious, when you're actually sleeping. There's deep sleep, there's light sleep, and then there's one more which is associated with REM sleep, but I do not remember the name. But there's one more, but we don't really talk about that one, since it's not super important unless you're really going to the extreme. And what your mind really needs is the REM, like the REM sleep. If you do not get your REM sleep, you will not be able to follow cognitively, right? And essentially, you actually only need 2 hours of REM sleep every single night to have your cognitive function up and running as smoothly and as best as possible. And you don't actually need a lot more than that when you're REM sleeping. So there is then so your REM sleep is to recover your cognitive mind, right? Then there's your deep sleep. Your deep sleep is more focused on building up muscle fibers after workouts and really just building up your body energy, right? So you've maybe been training, you destroy muscle fibers, and then over the night you build, you're stronger, and all that is with protein, right? So that's what you really need a deep sleep for. And light sleep is generally just to rest and for your body to recuperate. Okay. Now there is studies like, can you go without sleep? How long can you go without sleep? What if you only get REM sleep? And the REM sleep part where you actually only need the 2 hours is actually you can sustain that. It's not really sustainable, but you can do it for a long amount of time. And it's I don't really want to talk about this in a lot of detail, but something called polyphasic sleeping, right? This is actually something that I've done. Not currently doing it. It's something once if I'm like 1 or 2 months where I really need to get shit done, I go into this. And this is actually where instead of sleeping 8 9 hours every single day, I only sleep 4. And you can go a lot further down. You can have, I don't know if anyone knows of the very popular Uberman, where it's basically 6 naps of 20 minutes throughout the day, and that's all. But the way that I did it, I don't exactly remember the name of the model that I was running, but basically it was 1 hour, 5 hours awake, 1 hour sleep, 5 hours awake, 1 hour sleep, 5 hours awake, 1 hour sleep, 5 hours awake. So I had 4 hours in total, and this gave me a lot more time. It was easy to structure my day, and it works pretty well. But it was tough, right? Because I trained 6 times a week. My fitness got down, and generally, like, I really got down to a lower point after that, right? But once you're in it, because you get the cognitive function, your brain is really overdrive. You get a shit ton of work done, and it's that part of it's nice, but the part of it which I don't like is that it completely destroys your physical health, right? And that's why I cannot sustain it. I can sustain it for longer, but I choose not to because it really fucks up your body, right? But we don't want to talk any more about that, right? Essentially, there's people doing something called Tesla, where it's actually only an hour and 20 minutes of sleep a day, which is absolutely crazy. Something called Tesla. You can try search up for Tesla polyphasic sleeping and Uberman polyphasic sleeping. And there is a bit more, but those are probably the most extreme ones. Now, let's get more into the sleeping thing here. And the really important thing you need to remember about sleeping is that it is super important, not just for you, but for your health, right? And we talk about, let's go a little bit back to this. I talked about another video with energy, right? A human being has a certain amount of energy every single day, right? Energy that you can use on specific tasks or different tasks depending on what you use your life with, right? But there is a certain amount of energy that the human body has every single day. And the way that you recuperate this energy and get it again, probably the biggest factor that there is to getting your energy and getting you ready is your sleep, right? Of course, you're gonna have a healthy diet that helps. You're gonna have a good workout routine that helps. I mean, you can generally do exercises that's good and grateful for your brain. And you can do yoga and meditation and all this. This is good, but it's minimal what it adds. What really makes the big difference is the sleep, right? If I could choose one thing of all of these that I went hard on, it would be the sleep. And for you to get a good sleep, right? You say, "Oh, I need 6 hours a day." No, 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 no. You need to have 9 hours in your bed. You don't need to sleep 9 hours. You need around 8 hours of sleep. From 7 to 9 hours is around where you should be aiming, with an average of 8 hours of sleep every single night. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, when I get into my bed, I'm sleeping." But the average time for human adults to fall asleep is 21 minutes, right? So it's actually almost half an hour less in bed than you think. That's why when I go to bed, I'm 9 hours in my bed, right? Where I aim to get around 8 hours of sleep. Sometimes when I get a little late to bed, I sleep a little over because I really want to. I mean, if it stood to me, get the right amount of sleep or get up on schedule, I would actually rather sleep. Now, a lot of people disagree with me on that, and I can understand why, because it can break your routine. But if you're disciplined enough to keep it and like work your schedule around it and you have it around it, I would say it's actually more beneficial. So what I do, and when I go to bed, I usually aim to go to bed around the same time. Instead of me having an active alarm clock, I actually put my alarm to 9 hours and then I head to bed. Right? This means that I know I'm always getting my 9 hours in bed and I'm always fully rested for the next day. Right. Now, sometimes I do tend to read a little bit before I go to bed, but really what is important is that you get the amount of sleep that is necessary. I mean, adults can theoretically live on 6 hours of sleep without much of a hassle if you're doing it in one sitting. Or you can live like 4 hours and then have two 1 hour naps a day. It's also just 6 hours. That's called an everyday man. And it's actually also pretty effective. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do this, and you can make this work for you. Now, one thing that's really important to understand with sleeping is it's not something you shouldn't be neglecting, right? Because essentially, this is the biggest way that you can get your energy back and you can stay fresh, clean, and actually have your mind processing at the speed which it needs to be. So a lot of people say, "I don't sleep, it's for the bad," right? But what they don't see is that their reactive is slower, their brain cognitive function is slower, they have a slower body, they can't lift as much, they're exhausted, and the time that they have are worth 50% less than if they had just slept, right? Maybe they lose a bit of time, but the time awake, they're fully fresh, they're ready, and they're goddamn ready to go, right? That's why the sleep is super important to both your mental and physical health. Okay. Now, what can you do to really excel in your sleep habits? The first thing that I would say to anyone who has struggled sleeping, right, is if you have a job, which a lot of you probably has, where you have commitment and you need to work up. First thing I would do is set your phone to automatically turn off 9 hours before you go to bed. The same with your TV, the same with basically anything that can distract you that's a screen, right? Get screens away as fast as possible. I I aim to not really look at a screen. I'd rather read for an hour before I go to bed, or 30 minutes. I mean, that's like the best ideal version of me. Of course, I have something where I'm straight from my laptop into the bed. But try as much to minimize the amount of screen time you have right before you go to bed. The reason you do this is because when you're looking at a screen, your eyes do not really pick up that it is nighttime, right? Because we as human beings have been for thousands and thousands of years conditioned with when it turns dark and cold outside, it's usually time to go to bed. That's why you get sleepy. That's actually also why when you wake up early, even though you have not gotten the amount of sleep that you needed to, your body really, okay, it's getting warmer, it's getting lighter. Now they wake up, right? This really can confuse your brain and confuse you as mentally, and actually end up with you not really getting the amount of sleep that you should, because your brain is annoying it a bit. Okay, this is also why some, when you come home, you're just super tired and you just take a nap, and then you're good again for a couple of hours. That's actually also a good way to do it. But the good and really important thing about sleep is just to have control. Know when you're sleeping. I mean, if you're sleeping 4 hours a night, have your 2 rests, like 2 1 hour rests. It's really important that you have control over the amount of sleep that you're getting and when you're getting it. It's Sleep is a big factor, right? I think there's a lot of things that I've been inconsistent with, and a lot of things that I am consistent with, and it goes up and down in waves. But one of the things I always prioritized was just my sleep. No matter how low I got, sleep was one of the things that I was really good at prioritizing and getting me back up. Because I know if I don't have the full energy, even if I'm not really in the best state of mind, really, it can be. I want to make sure that I'm always doing my best to go further, go forward, right? And I need my energy to do that. If I do not have my energy, I'm stuck. I'm just procrastinating, and I feel tired, feel slaggy, feel sloozy, sloth. Right? We don't want that. I don't. I mean, sometimes it's nice, but nah, not really for me. Maybe it is for you. I don't want to tell you anything. I'm just giving you some facts here. Now, right now, it might sound like I'm a ideal piece of shit, but believe me, I'm not. Right? I mean, I also lose bedtimes, but it's just important that you have a schedule, right? And you have a goal, how much you want to hit, and then prioritize it. You may think, oh, sleep is for the dead people, right? No. You need to understand, the more you get out of your sleep, the more you get out of your day. Good sleep, good day, bad sleep, bad day. If you're grumpy in the evening or in the morning, it's just because you have not gotten enough sleep. That's usually the reason. A lot of people are not like, should I give you my coffee, right? If you really want to be the best version, right, you go up and you're fresh and nice and start. Of course, no matter when you wake up, you feel sleepy and what's it called? You feel sleepy and sluggish. But if you have a routine, right, that you can program into your body so that you're always getting a bed at the same time, then when you wake up, like a couple of minutes after, you're already fresh, right? If you stay for the same sleep routine for a long amount of time, that will happen. Now, a big problem that I see is that people doing the 9 to 5, in the weekdays, they have specific schedule that they follow, but then weekend flows around or comes around, and they just completely fuck it up. They go to bed 4 hours later, wake up 6 hours later, and then Monday comes and they completely fuck up their schedule. So even though when it's working days, Monday through Friday, they are really good and consistent about the sleeping that they have, but they just fuck it up in the weekends. And there's also this myth, right? You can catch up on sleep. Once sleep is lost, it is lost. You cannot catch up on sleep. It is not healthy for you, it's not good for you, and there's literally no reason not to get your hours. But of course, experiment. If you do, there is ways that you can go around not getting your hours, but you need to do it in the correct way for you not to fuck up anything. And just remember, for you to have if you're training, if you're doing exercise, if you're a big fitness guru, you need those hours. Because yes, you get your REM, you get your cognitive movement, but if you really want to be like peak physical, you need those 9 hours. Okay, there's not a lot to say about. That's just how it is. Okay? Now, what are some tips that I could recommend? Also, a good thing that I would invest in is a good bed. Right? Now, a good bed can cost some money, but imagine this: you're spending 30% of your life in a bed. Do you really want it to be a bad experience? No, and I always suggest spending a lot of money on your bed because it's a place where you spend a lot of time. It's very important to your health, right? Also, what blanket or dune are you using? What pillow? Are you sleeping with someone? Is it do you have the same sleep preferences? What temperature do you sleep in? Do you like sound? Do you want noise? The best thing I've found is just a pitch dark room, nice and cold, with a nice with a good bed and pillow, right? I like to sleep a bit cold actually. I don't know why, it just makes me sleep better. So yeah, I would really look into these things, try out a lot of different things, find out what's working, what's not working, what makes it good, what makes it bad. Okay, now that's really what I want to touch upon in this video, and make sure that when you're getting your sleep, when you're going out there and getting that sleep, that you're focusing on just getting your hours, right? I promise you, once you get up, get your sleep, it will completely turn around your life, and you will feel much more refreshed, much more energy, and you get lots more done. Okay, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. If you're a coach, consultant, anyone looking to really automate their client acquisition, hit the description and sales funnel. If you want to check it out, check it out. If not, then good. Have a great day. Bye.